Imagine a battlefield. Dust rising, swords clashing. In the heart of the chaos, one warrior stands out. He fights with unmatched ferocity, killing enemy after enemy, inspiring awe in his allies. Everyone watches, amazed by his bravery. But what if I told you, this very hero, this paragon of courage, was destined for the deepest pits of hell? Sounds impossible, right? How could someone so brave, so impactful in a holy war, meet such a tragic end? Today, we dive into one of the most profound and thought-provoking stories from Islamic history. The tale of Quzman, the warrior of Uhud. His story isn't just about battles. It's about the true meaning of intention and why it matters more than anything else. Stay with us, because this tale will challenge everything you think you know about heroism. Our story begins in the early days of Islam, during a pivotal moment, the Battle of Uhud. This was a crucial conflict between the nascent Muslim community in Medina and the powerful Quraysh tribe from Mecca. Every able-bodied man was called to defend their faith and their new home. Among them was a man named Quzman. Quzman was known for his strength and skill with a weapon. He was a formidable fighter, no doubt. But there was something deeply troubling about him. Before the battle, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, made a startling prophecy about Quzman. He declared that Quzman was destined for the fire of hell. Can you imagine hearing that about yourself? Or about someone you knew? It's a heavy statement, especially coming from a prophet. Unsurprisingly, Quzman was deeply offended by the prophet's words. He felt insulted, perhaps even unjustly judged. Because of this, when the call to arms came for Uhud, Quzman refused to join the Muslim army. He was upset, bitter even. He saw no reason to fight for a cause that, in his mind, had already condemned him. But in those times, staying behind when the men went to war was a source of great shame. The women of Medina, seeing Quzman idling while others marched to battle, began to taunt him. They shouted insults, questioning his masculinity, his honor, his courage. "Are you a man, or are you going to stay here with the women?" they might have cried. These words, sharper than any sword, pierced Quzman's pride. He couldn't bear the humiliation. It wasn't about faith, or defending Islam, or pleasing God. It was about his personal honor, his reputation among his peers, and silencing the mocking voices. His anger, his prestige, and his desire for revenge against those who shamed him fueled a sudden, burning resolve. He would go to war, not for God, but for himself. And so, Quzman joined the ranks, driven by a different kind of fire. When the Battle of Uhud began, he plunged into the thick of it. And what a fighter he was! Quzman fought with a ferocity that astonished everyone. He was like a whirlwind, moving through the enemy lines with incredible skill and power. His spear and sword danced, felling one Quraysh warrior after another. He didn't just fight, he dominated. He was at the forefront, always pushing forward, never retreating. He was instrumental in killing several of the Quraysh standard-bearers, those key figures who held the tribal banners, symbolizing their army's strength and morale. Taking them down was a huge blow to the enemy. The Muslim companions, witnessing his incredible bravery, were utterly amazed. They saw him risking his life, fighting with an intensity that seemed unmatched. Whispers spread through the ranks. How can someone so valiant, so brave, be destined for hell? They couldn't reconcile the prophet's prophecy with the heroic deeds they were witnessing. To them, Quzman was a hero, a champion of Islam. He was fighting like a true believer, giving his all. The battle raged on, and Quzman continued his relentless assault. But even the strongest warrior has limits. He sustained numerous, grievous injuries. Arrows pierced him, swords cut deep. He was bleeding profusely, in immense pain. The battlefield became a blur of agony. As the battle neared its end, Quzman lay wounded, his body racked with unbearable pain. He was suffering, and his pride, which had driven him into battle, now couldn't bear the thought of a slow, painful death, or perhaps even being captured. In a moment of desperation, overwhelmed by his physical torment, and perhaps his inner turmoil, he made a tragic choice. He reached for an arrow, not to shoot at an enemy, but to end his own suffering. He plunged it into his own chest, taking his own life. News of Quzman's death, and the manner of it, quickly reached the Prophet Muhammad. And just like that, the Prophet's earlier prophecy was confirmed. Quzman, the brave warrior who fought with such ferocity, who seemed to embody heroism, was indeed an inhabitant of the fire. This story, though ancient, carries a profound and timeless lesson. It's a powerful reminder that in Islam, actions are judged not just by their outward appearance, but by the intention, or Niat, behind them. Quzman fought bravely, yes. He killed many enemies, yes. He performed deeds that, on the surface, looked like acts of great piety and sacrifice for God. But his heart was not in it for God. His motivation was purely worldly: pride, anger, a desire to prove himself and to avoid shame. When faced with ultimate pain, his worldly motivations led him to a desperate act that sealed his fate. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, famously said, "Indeed, actions are only by intentions, and indeed every person will only have what he intended." Hadith, narrated by Bukhari and Muslim. This is a fundamental principle in Islam. It teaches us that true struggle, true jihad, isn't just about physical bravery on a battlefield. It's about the sincerity of our hearts, the purity of our intentions in dedicating ourselves to Allah. Quzman's story serves as a stark warning. It shows us that even heroic deeds, if not done for the right reasons, can be meaningless in the eyes of God. It compels us to look inward, to examine our own motivations in everything we do, whether it's our work, our studies, our relationships, or our acts of worship. Are we doing it for praise, for recognition, for worldly gain? Or are we doing it sincerely, seeking only the pleasure of God? The tale of Quzman, the warrior of Uhud, is a powerful narrative that transcends time. It teaches us that true heroism isn't just about what we do, but why we do it. It's a call to purify our intentions, to ensure that every action, big or small, is rooted in sincerity and a genuine desire to please our Creator.